Hi, welcome to another X-Wing strategy tips. Today I want to talk about beating up on dual Falcons. And as you can see here, actually I only own one Falcon. I'm somewhat morally opposed to having two Millennium Falcons. Yes, I know it's a YT 1300 and they're not actually two Millennium Falcons, but just a part of me dies whenever I see two Falcons. It just feels wrong with the Star Wars universe. But that being said, if you play any sort of tournament X-Wing, you're going to see an occasional person who does have two Falcons. And with the Wave 3 release, there is sort of a new list going around with the anti-pursuit lasers on 3 of these, not using them as one of the main pilots, but just as the Outer Rim Smuggler with anti-pursuit lasers. Basically just these big hulking blocking things that just shoot you whenever you touch them. It's kind of a cool idea, but also very expensive. You have to buy $20 I think expansions to get all the correct cards for it for tournament play if you want to go that way. But that being said, we're going to talk about dual Falcons a little bit, why is it so good, and what you can do about it. Alright, so as you can see on the board here, I actually don't have two Falcons like I already confessed. I want you guys to just pretend the slave one is actually a Falcon. I know it says Boba Fett on it right now, but I was too lazy to actually just put a Falcon pilot in it. But anyway, pretend it's two Falcons. And here's the thing about Falcons, right? As you guys may or may not know, they fire in 360 degrees and they have a ton of hit points. That's basically their whole shtick, right? They fire anywhere, they're big, and they got a lot of points that you got to knock off. The downsides of the Falcon, of course, are they have very low agility, right? We're only talking about 1 agility. I'll put up a pilot or 2 here on the screen so you can see what the Falcon stats look like. Probably the most well-known one is actually Han Solo, which basically gives you a reroll. If you don't like your attack, you just get a sort of a do-over. Especially if you have a card like Gunner or Luke co-piloting that will give you, they'll really help you ensure that you score hits at the time you need to score hits. But anyway, you've got your Falcon, and there are two. I think there are really two styles of playing Falcon. If you're playing a dual YT, and again, I'm not really a dual Falcon player, so maybe there's some more subtleties to it that I haven't picked up on. So I'll admit I definitely don't know the strategies of playing this type of squad as better as some of the others. But at least in my summation, there's two. The first of which is the type of Falcon player who sort of flies their ships into the middle and just sort of hangs out in the middle. And the benefit to the flying in the middle, of course, is, well, since these things can fly in 360 degrees, their range is basically the entire board. You have two ships that can hit almost everything on the entire board here. The second type of Falcon player is a little more interesting, I think. I'm actually not sure which of the two strategies is more effective. I kind of have a hunch the second one is, but again, haven't actually really tested it out myself, and I'm not even sure if this is close to the edge of the board in the camera. But a second idea for dual Falcons is to basically just keep them on the very, very edge of the board. And again, especially if you're playing against, we'll say, ships that aren't very maneuverable, probably a bad example is a whole bunch of Y-Wings. Having two Falcons that sort of go up and down the edge of the board is really difficult to deal with. You don't have a lot of room to go and K-turn behind them. So a lot of players, if they just fly directly at it, Falcons move, and now what are you going to do? You can't go this way because the Falcons are blocking. If you go straight, you're off the edge of the board. What's your next move? So, how do you deal with this? Well, I think if you're going up against a Falcon player that's playing them at the edge of the board, and this goes for almost any type of squadron build you have, if a player is taking Falcons and putting them there, you can't necessarily guarantee this is what they're going to do, but at least you got to plan for it, is you need to time it such that your ships basically get to the point right after they turn around. So if they're just going up and down like this, Falcon gets to the edge, they have two choices. They can either flip around or they can turn into the middle. And what you're essentially trying to do is from over here, just wait and see. You're coming from maybe this way, you're heading off at 90 degrees. You have to wait and see what they do. So you're kind of at the far corner of the board. If they come at you, well, this is not so bad. You're just going to get a head-on fight, which is probably what you want. And if you're both coming at each other, hopefully, you'll be able to K-turn or come back around for another round of firing. So that's fine. If they do K-turn and come around on themselves, or you can just do a small turn, once they're going back this direction, You just need to fly in here and just sort of approach them and tail them the whole way as slowly as possible. And they will go slow. They'll be sort of waiting for you to go by, especially if you're in something like TIE fighters that can't really go slow for very long. And the whole time while they're shooting at you, you're shooting at them, and hopefully you have more firepower. Now, the thing is about 2 Falcons is really not hard to blow up. Between the 2 of them, they have only, I think, about 26 hit points or so, and only 1 defense die in each roll. Falcons, they're really not that hard to blow up if you have a good, clean setup to them. However, if your squadron's all over the place, and you have one-on-one matchups against the Falcons the whole game, or even 2-on-1, you're in some big trouble, because these things, even though they can take a lot of hits, they don't prevent a lot of hits, but they can sure deal a lot of hits. So if you're leaving your squadron open and you have ships flying all over the place, you will get burned. It's very, very important to fly in formation here. This is probably the type of matchup that you need to fly in formation the best. If you are separating your pilots, they will just pick you apart. And so because of that, I think in beginner matches, dual Falcons, or just the Falcon in general, got a little bit of the feeling of being overpowered, because, you know, basically you don't really need to learn how to fly this thing. It kind of flies itself. But the opposing player really needs to know how to fly their ships, even though it might feel like it doesn't, because you know, obviously the Falcon can hit you wherever you fly. So it seems like flying isn't that important. But it so is, because you need to maximize the number of hits on this Falcon. So you need to be better about predicting where it's going to end up, and what's just going to give you the most dice against it. And furthermore, just again, keeping your squadron intact. So going up against Falcons in general, but especially dual Falcons, keep all your ships you can in a squadron, make your hits clean, and then get out. If you're not sure you can make a K turn with everybody, you might just want to, and the Falcons are going this way and you need to go this way, you know, and you have a lot of TIE fighters or something that can go fast, interceptors, A-wings, whatever it is, I wouldn't hesitate to actually just, you know, put on a 5 maneuver, let the Falcons try to hit you from range 3 for a round, regroup, and then come back for a second strike. It's really not that bad of an idea, especially if you get to roll 3 or 4 defense dice on the way out against the Falcons rolling by default. Take a hit point and live for another day. So anyway, dual Falcons, stay in a squadron. Timing is everything. Make sure you're well timed, and don't be scared. They're not that scary if you just focus your fire on one of them. Blowing up a Falcon, I think the first time everyone blows one up, it's just always a surprise. You're like, that thing is dead already? And it's true. It really doesn't take a lot to blow it up. They are just offensive firepower. You just got to be patient and score your hits.